Hi, and welcome to Grandma's Good News Stories. Today I have a story to read to you from the Bible, and I'm reading from this storybook. We've been reading about a man named Abram, his wife Sarai, and their nephew Lot. We've learned so far that Abram and Sarai don't have any children. They took Lot under their wing after his father died. And we know that God spoke to Abram and told him to leave his family and go to a new land. And he did. We know that Abram, Sarai, Lot had servants and many flocks and cattle, and they were doing really well. In fact, the Bible says they were rich. They had so many tents and animals that they actually had to separate. And that was our story last time. That they just couldn't live right beside each other. They needed more grass, more space for their animals. And so they did. And so they moved to different places. We remember that Lot chose the better place, and Abram let him. And we know that just as I finished, it said that Abram pitched his tents under the oak trees near the city of Hebron and built an altar to worship God. That's where we left off. Today's story has quite the title. It's called Lot is Captured. Uh-oh, I wonder what's happening here. Let's read. When Lot chose the fertile plains of Jordan, he thought he was making the wise choice. He saw in the distance the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. He knew he could make much silver and gold by selling sheep and cattle in those cities. So Lot moved towards Sodom. Later, he pitched his tents near the city walls. Finally, he moved his family inside. He got closer and closer and closer. That was a mistake. Now, Sodom was not a place for good people to live. The people of that city cared nothing about God. Some were very rich, but they were also very wicked. But Lot saw them as rich and clever. He was mistaken. One day, trouble came upon Sodom. There had been war, and the kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, and 3 other cities had gone out to battle. They were defeated. Means they lost the battle. The conquering soldiers entered Sodom and Gomorrah, crowded through the streets, pushed their way into rich men's houses, and took everything away they could carry. They even captured Lot, his wife, and his children, and they were taken prisoner. One captive escaped and fled across the country, and guess who he headed for? He headed to find Abram. He told him all about the battle and what had happened to Lot. And when Abram heard this, he took a few friends and 318 servants, it says, to go after the captives. Hooray for Abram! He got involved and wanted to help. After a long, hard march, they came across the enemy's camp. It was night, and the enemies were sleeping. Abram and his men rushed right in upon them and frightened them. The enemy thought a great army had come to fight, and they were not prepared at all for battle. Can you imagine what's happening? So they ran away, leaving their tents, all the goods, and their prisoners. Well, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, came out to meet Abram and gave him some food, and he thanked God for giving Abram such a great victory and asked God to bless Abram. The people of Canaan also honored Abram for his courage, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him. Now he offered Abram all the gold and silver and food and clothing that he had taken from the enemy's camp. He said, "You can keep it all." said, could I just have the people back? He said, only the people be returned to Sodom. Abram, you can have everything else. But Abram would not accept any reward because he had promised God not to keep anything for himself. So all the people and all the things they owned were rightfully returned. Lot? Did he go back? He, his wife, and children all went back to live in that wicked Sodom. But Abram, he returned to his quiet tent house under the oak trees near Hebron. That's our story today. And we have more to carry on with Abram, Sarai, and Lot. Aren't you glad that Abram came to rescue Lot? We are never alone. I'm so glad God gives us people to watch over us. Have a great day, and God bless you.